and see what's going on.
Yeah, true. On this side.
Alright guys, just as we're coming off from the dock here, we do politely ask that you stay in your seat. But once we get out and we get on the tour, you are able to get up and move around if you need to take pictures. But as we're leaving, they figured if they started in the middle and worked their way out, the federal government would not allow a giant pool to sit in the middle of New York State, so they would be forced to give them money so that they could finish the project. Luckily, they did not need the federal government's help. They were able to finish the project with their own state money, and it cost $7 million. And that built them 363 miles of Erie Canal. It was 40 feet wide and 4 feet deep, built in 1903. I never thought it actually smelled like popcorn until they came up, and I'm like, I bet you they think the material is popcorn. Interesting. Coming up on the left side of the boat, we see the Edward M. Cotter. And the Edward M. Cotter is a fireboat that was launched in 1900. Now, the original grain elevators were made out of wood, and most of the power that is also highly combustible led to many fires along the river. So they needed fireboats like the Cotter in order to put those fires out. The Edward M. Cotter is the oldest active fireboat in the world. It is still active. It'll still go out and fight fires that happen along the river, which they do every now and then. I believe the last one was in 2013. Someone started a fire on top of one of the silos. I don't know if they were doing a bonfire, but the Edward M. Cotter was there to get rid of it. It is engine number 20 of the Buffalo Fire Department that is an active fire station as well. There's an organization called Friends of the Cotter that can keep it out and maintain it so it stays completely trumped out about 20 years later. So this is called the Great Northern, built in 1897, and what is unique about this facility is that it was the first grain elevator to be built with steel bins. It can hold 2.5 million bushels of grain when full. It is the that is still standing today with steel bins. So behind that wall there, you would actually see the large bins that held the grain. It is on the National Register of Historic Places, so they cannot change it or knock it down. And it is currently owned by ADM, which is next door. ADM stands for Archer Daniel Midland, and it's a milling plant. Woo! He's very excited. He's very excited. We'll feed off of that energy for sure. Oh, he has a dog on the kayak. It's the cutest thing. It's adorable. I'm a dog lover. I just gush over dogs. ADM stands for Archer Daniel Midland. It is currently an operating flour mill, and they own the Great Northern. ADM also owns one of the grain elevators that's going to be a little farther up the river. They make a lot of flour for commercial bakeries in this area. If you look at the very top, rumor has it that there is the ghost of the Pillsbury Doughboy running around on those top floors. I've never seen him. Yep. Those little peas. As we go down a little bit farther, we're actually going to divert our attention to the left side of the boat, the port. We look at the present, we also predict for the future. And this is a good example alongside of Riverworks of the future of Buffalo. And the more recent past, Buffalo was on a very rapid decline. And if you lived in Buffalo for the past 20, 30 years, you would have never imagined that this is what it was going to become. And it's really amazing to see the future in it all. It stays flat and it goes straight up and down. It is still operational. If you are someone who owns a large boat and couldn't fit under this and you would want to go down the river, you would have to call a few days in advance to have somebody there to make sure that that bridge will go up for you. They will not, there's not a bridge operator there all the time, so if you just come here randomly, you would have to turn around and go back to the other one. Ohio Street actually connects the Old First Ward neighborhood out to the outer harbor. And now as we go under the Ohio Street Bridge, we're actually entering Silo City. On the right side of the boat, this first structure that we see in Silo PV was basically one of the largest, if not the largest, malting facility in the world. And they had they had the rights to the water in this area. So what they have here, and the first times that we're seeing here, are these marine towers, these two large metal structures. Oh, they're having their wedding right next to it too. I mentioned that American PV was the first place to use that process, but Cargill S was the first place to use that process in the winter. So it's very tricky having concrete in the winter because it'll freeze before it properly sets. But the continuous pour process, as it pours, it creates heat, and it was given just enough heat for that concrete to set properly and not freeze. They did this in 3 sections starting in 1914 and ending in 1925. And you can see the sections are clearly marked. The first section is right coming up here. Free to get up and move around on the boat. You can take pictures and enjoy this little intermission that we have. You have to go out like the Ohio Street Bridge. I think it's on Ganson Street. It's on Ganson. So I think you go out Ohio, and I think it's one turn to get on Ganson. It's right there. Take it right up to Ganson.
Michigan Avenue is 20 years.
Yeah. So the Queen City Bike there? Alright guys, we're going to continue on. But when you're talking about that much money, you know, what's another $700,000, right? So it's actually going to be a $15 million to $20 million project. They are currently still trying to fund and raise money for it. What they were thinking about doing, we'll see if it actually happens, is once it's a little bit safer on board, they do want to open it up for tours so that they can make another revenue stream for money to pay for the rehab. I mean, with a $15 million budget, though, it's pretty difficult to just take that on. So it's about 200 feet long, about 40 feet wide. It has 5 different decks and can hold 3,200 people on board. Very, I mean, I don't know where they would put all those people. I mean, maybe somewhere hanging off the side of the railing. But it's really exciting that she's here. The owner of Silo City is allowing them to keep it here as they rehab it. I really do hope they won't pull out the doors. That would be fantastic. In front of us, we actually see a huge 4 tugboats affect our electricity for a long time. The ice boom is right there. Yep, all those, they look like burnt hot dogs. So they actually use these tugboats and they take it out and they will put it up no later than December 16th. That's usually the unofficial start of winter. They will take it out in about April. The earliest it was taken out was March 25th, and the latest it was taken out, I think, was April 16th. But they usually get it out by April. It's usually when the boaters get really excited because they know they can start prepping their boats and putting them in the water. It is owned by the New York State Power Authority and the Ontario Power Authority as well. So they just house it right here during its summer months. The tugboats will go out every now and then. We saw them out not too long ago. They have to go out and make sure the post there they hold the pontoon is up to code and it's safe so that doesn't break at all. This park right here is the Mutual Riverfront Park. It's at the end of Hamburg Street, which is part of the old First Ward. I talked a lot about the Irish immigrants, but they really were a pivotal part of this. In front of us, we actually have another grain elevator, and this is the Standard. And the Standard is currently in operation. It has that blue chute coming up out of the side. The Standard is owned by ADM, which we saw earlier. This is where they house their grain before they mill it and turn it into food. So what they do, we have their trains right here. They will load up safe to talk as we go by. And it looks like a happy wedding, so it looks like she didn't run away at the last minute, so that's congratulations to the new couple. I don't know. She would have to touch on a train and take off. That really is a cool place to have a wedding. That really is. I don't think I could ever be there. So the Standard is, like I said, is still in operation. They still have ships that come up to it. The ship that comes up to it at various times of the year is called the Herbert S. Jackson. And the Herbert S. Jackson is sister ship to the Edmund Fitzgerald. And the Edmund Fitzgerald is famous because it was the largest vessel to sink in the Great Lakes. It actually sank in Lake Superior. And Edmund Fitzgerald, and I heard it goes down about as fast as that ship did.
Wow! Bad.
We all love those corny jokes, don't we? Alright, so the Shiraz was able to navigate all those turns on its own that Captain Drew just had. And what they would do here is they would build ships within this large structure, and then once they were done, they were able to bring the water in around the dry dock, essentially turn it into a wet dock, and then they were able to bring the vessels out. OSHA would not be okay with this today. On the right side of the boat, we have another example of Buffalo's redevelopment. They have more condos being built here. If you follow the local news, you know that we have the Solar City plant being built. Who knows what it's going to be used for now, but it's being built. Last I heard, Tesla Automotive was thinking about buying it out and moving it in there. But one thing is hopefully going to happen is that we're going to have more jobs and more people moving into this area. So that we are building these condos to have places for them to live. But it is really good to see that we have condos being built and this area is being redeveloped, because 5 years ago, people would not come down to the Buffalo River. It just wasn't a place that you went to. Right here, staying on the right side of the boat, we have Buffalo Riverfest Park. And Buffalo Riverfest Park has a yearly festival here. I wonder if that's what's going on right now. They also have weekly free music. It's generally Irish themed to pay homage to the Irish heritage in this area. It's also known as Pike Park, and it's relatively new. It was built in 2012.